Okay, we're about there, and it's really good to see everyone. We will have a chance to talk after service. It's so meaningful to see everyone. I'm using my iPad for the second week in a row, so I can actually really see everyone, which is kind of cool. I feel a little bit like we're together. It's very special Shabbat today. It's Refugee Shabbat. Raise your hand as we're coming into services. How many of your families came here, or you individually, as refugees? I see a number of people. I know in our family.
I don't really know if you
call it that.
On both sides, both the Cher and I, we both had refugees. My great grandparents and Cher's grandparents. So we're going to come together. I think we're ready to start services. If everyone could mute themselves, just because of the way Zoom works. We so appreciate that. That's out of no disrespect. We'd love to hear from you. Unfortunately, I'll be muted most of the service too, because any dissonant sound goes right to the Zoom screen. As we're coming in, let's just take a nice deep breath of Shabbat air, breathing in everything we want to hold on to and breathing out everything we want to let go of. We'll reflect back on our last week. Think of all the amazing moments you want to hold on to and moments you want to let go of. And we'll be at peace with that. For some of us, this week is a week we'll remember forever, and some moments we'll forget as soon as they happened, as all weeks happen. And you never know what an important moment, but we're here together, and I think that's the important thing. I'm going to turn it over now to Bruce Corris, our synagogue president, to offer our introduction and welcome.
Shabbat shalom, everyone. It is so nice to see all those faces tonight on Zoom. Who remembers what you were doing a year ago tomorrow night? March 6th, 2020, it was a Friday night. Many of us were in the sanctuary for Erev Shabbat services that night. And that was the last time we were together in the sanctuary for Erev Shabbat services. 3 nights after that, we had our Purim spiel with 250 people in the sanctuary, and then the world changed. And that Friday night, that following Friday night, March 13th, Friday the 13th, Joanne, myself, the rabbi, the cantor, and Paul were the only 5 people in the sanctuary. And it got smaller after that. It was just the rabbi and the cantor and Paul for a while. Our lives changed dramatically. And I look back on this past year with a lot of thought about how things have been. And I still have a very positive mindset. I'm so grateful for this temple and what everyone has been able to do during this past year. It has been a momentous year for us, but we've been able to do a lot, and our members have remained connected with each other like we are tonight. So I wish you all a happy and joyous Shabbat, and I'll be back later with the announcements. There's something coming up kind of special as we mark this 1-year commemoration of COVID. So I'll see you guys a little bit later. And again, Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Thanks, Bruce, and thanks for all you do. It's so appreciated. And we're ready for Cantor's going to share her screen. It's so good to see Cantor and Mike over there. We're ready to get started with our official service.
Let's make sure everybody is on mute, please. Thank you. Try it with me. Hine matov after me. How good it is, how good it is, how sweet it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Hinei matov umanayim shepetahim gam yachad. Sing with me. Hinei matov umanayim shepetahim gam yachad. Now repeat after me. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Here's your chance now. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Last time. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum.
Beautiful. You know, that psalm, the line from the psalm changes so much when we think about Refugee Shabbat. Being together with your brothers and sisters is different when you're in a different country. So I can imagine that having just a different ring to it. So we'll come together now for candle lighting. And again, Cantor, why don't you lead our way?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadrik ner shel Shabbat.
Blessed are those candles that light our way through Shabbat and make our homes nice and cozy. It looks like Mike's holding the Kiddush cup. Oh, wow. What great pictures you put together. That looks like someone who just became maybe a citizen there. We have our Kiddush as we sanctify this day.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho v'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lemaseh v'reshit ki hu yom tehillah lemikra'ei kodesh zecher utziat mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta v'yotanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha v'ahava uv'ratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai v'kadesh haShabbat.
L'chaim. Actually, I learned this week how to say that in Greece. Yamas. I guess that's the informal. We had a Greek friend's birthday this week. We are going now to L'chadodi as we welcome in the Shabbat bride. We'll sing that first verse together. On that last verse, we rise and face our doorways wherever they are as we bow to Shabbat. We remain standing for our Baruch Hu, our call to prayer.
La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Ya la la la. Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamevorach. Baruch Adonai Hamevorach le'olam va'ed. Sing with me. La 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 la.
O God, you are as near as the very air we breathe, yet farther than the farthest star. We yearn to reach you. We seek the light and warmth of your presence. Though we say you are near, we are lonely and alone. Oh, let our desire be so strong that it will tear the veil that keeps you from our sight and let your dark light release our darkness and reveal the glory and joy of your presence.
These are all pictures sent to me from Matt Stewart. From the
And Matt's with
JFS.
us. Matt's with us tonight. So thank you. I'm so glad that he's here. He's done only been in our community for about a year and a half. He's done a wonderful job. We remain standing for the Shema.
Some of these pictures represent the beautiful work that the JFS is doing on behalf of refugees. 2, 3, 4. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kivud Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Baruch Shem Kivud Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
You may be seated.
Sorry. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'otecha ve'hayu hadivarim ha'ele asher Anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinanta levanecha v'diborta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha u'v'lechtecha v'derech u'v'shokbecha u'v'kumecha u'kshartam leot hayadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha uchtavtam hamezuzot betecha u'visharecha leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'yitem kedoshim lelohechem ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
I don't care, whatever.
All right, as you're coming in, if you have yourself unmuted, just make sure you mute yourself and take a look at these beautiful pictures. You can go back one and go show that again. That's wonderful. Thank you, Matt. I didn't know he sent these in. These are from our local community. That's amazing. Vishamru. Clap. Please clap along. I can't, but please do.
Sing with me. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael Shabbat לעשות את השבת בתורתם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת בתורתם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת vayinavash. Last time for everyone. Here we go. Shamru b'nei Yisrael et haShabbat la'asot et haShabbat v'torotam berit olam.
Oh, that was so much fun. We're going to rise if you're able, or sit, whatever your custom is. We have an opportunity for our own private prayers and devotions. You don't have the words there. Find the words of your heart, and we'll resume services in just a couple minutes.
Say shalom bimroma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Say shalom bimroma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Say shalom bimroma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu. Say shalom bimroma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Say shalom bimroma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Say shalom bimroma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom. Israel, Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'Ko Yisrael, Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'Ko Yisrael, Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'Ko Yisrael, Yaseh Shalom. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'Ko Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'Ko
We're turning now to our healing blessing. Thank you, Cantor and Mike, for beautiful Oseh Shalom. Wake up our spirits here. And we turn our attention to so many in our community and among us who are in need of our prayers. As a community, we're thinking about Lee Applebaum, Andrew Joseph Bernard, Marietta Bratton, Sonia Breitbart, Kim Brodsky, Michael Berwick, Arthur Dizelke, Dave Gajewski, Nancy Hersbrunn, Sue Hill, Howard Hilfstein, Charles Lemansky, Diane Lynch, Kathy Mass, Michael Massimo, Karen Place, Richard Radis, Martin and Barbara Scher, Diane Simons, Gail Willig-Smith, Gretchen Solander, Lorenzo Stewart, Cindy Walgate, Mindy Weinman, Lauren Wolf and family, and Hannah Ezra Ben Shuel. If you have names, I see Kevin D there. Sorry, I'm gonna get to our names here. Roy Post, Ruth Dunphy, Ariel Dickinson, Linda Bergman, Ellen Temp, and we're praying for Linda to get better in a hurry. Roger Bizalki, Kathy Cooper, Jeannie Smith, Mr. Kim, Richie Merlot, Sharon Burstein Walker, Levy Gartman, Iris Mell, Bobby Millman, Jesse Frank, Don, Rachel, and Kathy. Thanks for everyone's contributions. Turn it over to Cantor and Mike for our prayer.
Source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find love to make our lives a blessing, and let us say amen. Mishemera imotenu b'kol habracha. With refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
A complete healing of body and soul. At the beginning of services, I asked to see who had family that came over as refugees, immigrants. So many of you had people like that, and were welcomed by this prayer. This poem, written by Emma Lazarus in, I think it was 1883, and eventually put on the Statue of Liberty at the pedestal there, is something that greeted and represented America. And so many of our ancestors came in to see that Statue of Liberty. Actually dreamed about the Statue of Liberty last night. I only wish I could get to New York City. So I'm going to read it in that and thinking about this moment. Not like the brazen giant of Greek fame, with conquering limbs astride from land to land, here at our sea-washed sunset gate shall stand a mighty woman with a torch, whose flame is the imprisoned lightning, and her name, Mother of Exiles, from her beacon hand glows worldwide welcome. Her mild eyes command the air-bridged harbor that twin cities frame. Keep ancient lands your story's pomp, cried she with silent lips. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. I still get chills just thinking about this poem and all the ways that Emma Lazarus in her very short life helped to greet the new immigrants that were just coming there in the early 1880s. So I'm going to invite Cantor. Oh, yes, oh, beautiful. We have actually here, that is Melania Pulias's, her passport, I believe, from Romania when she first got here. And this is who we're going to hear from. Melania was able to find that. Look how beautiful she was, so young, and from 1970. Quite a long time ago, 50 years have passed.
This was only for Hungary and Czechoslovakia. This is not a passport for America.
Right, that's from Romania. Sorry, I'm pronouncing it wrong. Let me introduce you properly. That was Melania, or Coco, as she sometimes is called here. I always call her Melania because that's how I first met her, but some of you know her as Coco. And we have here her son Yoram and daughter-in-law Melissa, who's also a cantor, who are joining from the New York City area, and her grandson.
I can't see them.
Grandkids are there.
I don't see them.
And a lot of her really good friends. She's been part of the Buffalo community. She was welcomed in by Hayas. This is the related, this is the Hayas Shabbat, or Hayas Refugee Shabbat. I grew up not knowing anything about Hayas.
Audience, maybe I thought she was starting.
Oh, it's okay. So Melania, we're going to turn it over to you in just a minute. I've gotten to know Melania, and I knew Morel, her husband, her late husband, and they such wonderful people and very understated, and they have wonderful story to share. Melania representing both her and Morel and the family in this way. And I'm so excited to be able to welcome her to Refugee Shabbat, and looking forward to hearing her story. So I'm going to suggest when she speaks, why don't you put yourself, everyone who's watching, you can put it on speaker view so you can see her a little clearer. And I'm going to turn off my mic and just invite Melania for you to tell your story. If you're talking, Melania, I don't think we can hear you.
No, I was waiting. So I am here in Buffalo for the past 50 years and some more, most of my adult life, and it's half a century, you know. And I visited Romania only once since I'm here. We took our son to visit Romania in order to have an idea where we were coming from, to see the graves of our ancestors. And I came back very disappointed and happy that I wasn't there anymore. But to tell you the truth, the rabbi, when he gave me this assignment, I started to think back and to evaluate the country, the events, the history. And I realized that my perception might be somewhat distorted, but the facts are what they are. So I'm going to make the story factual. Romania is a beautiful country, has majestic mountains and beautiful meadows, the second longest river in the world, the Danube. It has the beautiful beaches. In a word, is very good for tourists. It's not good for the Jews, though. But they still have a Yiddish theater, which became quite famous in Europe. Well, it seems that Jewish tombs were Jewish burial tombstones were found dating from 100 Common Era. So Jewish people were coming along with the Roman garrisons and established themselves there. And since then, there is quite a history about them. They contributed a lot to the economical and cultural development of Romania. And to give you an idea, in 1934, there were about 700,000 Jews. Now, let's put it in the perspective. Romania is the size, almost the double size of New York State. But the number of the inhabitants, the population, is almost half. It's half? No, it's about the same. So in a biggest territory, it's about the same amount of people. So Romania is not such a big country, it's not so populated. And having 700,000 Jews in 1934, it was quite a lot. And before the World War II, they were 800,000 of Jews. And after the Second World War, they were only 300,000 Jews. And now they are about 9,000. I'll have to move fast and to fast forward to 1960s in order to tell my personal story. So what happened in 1960s in Romania, it was the dictatorship, the communist dictatorship was there, but Ceausescu opened a little bit the door towards the West because he became very afraid of the Russians. In 1956, the Russian rolled their tanks into Hungary, and in 1969, they went to Czechoslovakia. So Ceausescu was trying to be diplomatic and be involved with Western countries. The relationship with Israel was warming up. And the story is that starting in 1948, Israel provided economic help, assistance, a lot of technological and agricultural assistance to Romania in exchange for Jews. So all this time, Jews were sent to Israel based on the economical exchange. Also in the 60s, it was a British businessman, Henry Jacober, or Jacober, maybe he had a Romanian origin, and he was the middleman between families who lived in Europe and had the money, had the financial means to purchase Romanian Jews. And it was about 2,000 or 3,000 Jew, considering the occupation and the profession and the education. So Jews were sold permanently. Well, after the 1967 war, Romania was the only country from the Eastern Bloc who maintained a diplomatic relationship with Israel, but they halted the transactions with Israel in deference to the Arabs' friends. But in 1969, they were forced to restart the relationship, the economical exchange, and also they were strapped for cash, and now they were asking cash. So we were sure that we can apply again for a visa to go to Israel to immigrate. In 1969, in July, I think, Richard Nixon visited Romania and stayed for 2 days, and it was warmly received, and we, the Jews, had so much hope that he was advocating for us, that we got emboldened to stay in line and apply to immigrate to Israel. The situation was such, Mirel applied many times to go to immigrate to Israel before we got married. And every time he was refused based on his profession. And after he was refused, he was demoted, he looked for other jobs. So when we got married in 1965, we stopped this project. But after 1969, in 1969, we decided to apply together. So we gathered our documents, and it was quite an endeavor. It was a struggle also because we needed to keep it secret. And afterwards, we stayed in the line overnight at the Ministry of Interior because it was a long line, and you never know when they'll say, this is the quota for today, you can go home. So we stayed in line, also tried to be inconspicuous, not to be recognized like everybody else, because everything was a secret. Shortly after we got the response, we were denied. And it was a very polite refusal because Mirel was important and essential in his profession to contribute to the Romanian economy. We were really disappointed, but at the same time, Romania opened the door to trips and excursions to Hungary and Czechoslovakia. So we applied to Hungary and Czechoslovakia for a trip for our vacation. and we were given 30 days, a passport. We were approved, which was a surprise. And the passport was only for Hungary and Czechoslovakia. It wasn't for any other country, only Hungary and Czechoslovakia. So in order to go on this excursion, you had to purchase a package. And they were vouchers for lodging, for hotels, for meals, for gasoline, because they didn't provide any money, any currency. So we purchased this package, and we decided to leave with our plan to escape eventually to the west. We planned to leave before a long weekend. The first one was 1st of May. On the 30th of April, in the meantime, we made preparation. We purchased a lot of camping equipment, non-perishable goods, food, which we knew that it was well sought in Hungary and Czechoslovakia, and even for ourselves. And little by little, we prepared our trip. And in 30th of April, we went to the National Bank, the only bank in Romania, to withdraw most of our savings. And walking back home, casually, we met my husband Mirel's sister, and we greeted each other warmly. We passed the envelope with the money. They had a key to our apartment. Anyhow, we embraced casually for good night, and we went home. So they knew what our plan was. Our friends were guessing, but we didn't do any big fuss about it. They knew that we were going on our vacation. So on the 1st of May, 1970, we drove towards Budapest. We arrived there in the evening. We went to the hotel which was assigned to us. It was Erev Hotel, Elizabeth, which happened to be the hotel where Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton got reconciled, and he gave her the big diamond. And we were so happy. We are staying in such a famous place. It ended up to be our room at the mansard below the roof, a very small room, low ceiling, only one little sink, the toilet on the hallway, but we were happy. We were there, we were happy, we were on our vacation. The next day we went to the Bureau of Tourism to exchange our vouchers for currency, to be independent, to be free, to sleep where we want and to eat where we want. And so we did. And we had an address of a relative of one of our friends. We went there, we stayed with her. She was very nice and hospitable. She didn't charge us, she didn't want any money, but she accepted graciously some of our goodies from our trunk. So we stayed there as long as we needed. And then we visited, we did some tourism all the time with a heavy feeling that we have to act, we have to do, but we can be suspicious. So we went to the first border place with Austria, and we had a plan what to explain to the officer. And Mirel explained to the officer that we want to go to Vienna to spend a couple of days, then to go to Czechoslovakia, spend our vacation, come back to Hungary, and then back home. And that guy didn't buy it. And he excused himself, and next to him came another officer who was speaking Romanian. And he was quite angry with us and threatening and cursing us. And they put us a stamp over here, and on top of the stamp, another stamp. And he said this stamp is to show it to the Romanian authorities for them to know what your plans were, what you were planning to do. So you can imagine how we felt after this, how how threatened and in a way desperate, but we have to calm ourselves down and to pursue our plans, our vacation, not to become more suspicious, because always you think that people are following you, that people are looking for you. So we went to Czechoslovakia. We spent some time, continue there, and we did some touristic sightseeing. And we arrived in Prague. During the day, we went straight to the Jewish cemetery, hoping that there we are going to find some Jewish people to assist us, but nobody was there. So in front of the cemetery, we opened our map. Oh, no, first we went to the touristic office to get our money to make sure we are free to choose where we go and what we spend. And well, in front of the cemetery, we opened our map in order to see eventually a camping site. And a lady, a very nice middle-aged lady, approached us and offered us some assistance to look on the map for us. And we explained what we were looking for. And she invited us to her house. And she asked us to stay with them. She was living in a nice apartment. She was a librarian. She had a teenage daughter, and her husband was the conductor of the Philharmonic Symphony. And at that time in Prague, it was the Spring Music Festival. You can imagine our luck. We were invited with a family to a couple of concerts, and we stayed with them in a very friendly atmosphere and very smart people. I can't tell you how we communicated, but it went easily. I don't know. I still can't remember. So after a while, we did some tourism. We enjoyed very much the old city with the music in every single church. People from all over the world attending the concerts. And we started to have an image of how they look like, how people from the Western world look like. They don't have the same type of blouses. They don't have that physiognomy. It was another world. So we started to explore the map. Mirel was an expert. So we tried one border. I want to make it short. We tried one border, and the officer came out and excused himself that our plan he wasn't able to let us go. And behind him was a Russian officer or a tank. And we tried this quite a few places. Mirel remembered like 5, 6 places. And we really were discouraged. And in a way, I think it was a desperation. It was hidden from each other, but we were really worried what will happen to us if we return to Romania. So Mirel found a little point on the map, which we weren't sure it was for real, but we pursued. And it was a dirty road for horse and wagons. And we arrived in a little cabin, and there were 2 Czech officers smiling, happy to see people. They didn't see people trying to cross the border in a long time. They asked us to open the trunk, was a good sign. We told them that our plan. They asked us to open the trunk. They checked the purchases in Prague. They asked us for taxes. We paid the taxes. They had our passports. We get in our car. And we looked at them, and they were talking to each other and looking at the passport and telling, oh my God, it's going to happen again. But lucky us, they came out, they handed us the passport, and they raised the barrier. And there we were in the Niemand world, in the Niemand land, between 2 barriers, the Czech one and the Austrian one. The Austrian officer, the custom guard, smiled at us, took our passports, and asked for a car insurance. we had the car insurance only for Hungary and Czechoslovakia. So he said that we can purchase a temporary one if we have marks, but we didn't. So he accepted whatever money we had in our pockets, and he wrote our temporary car insurance. And Mirel kept saying, raise the barrier, raise the barrier. So finally he did. So Mirel started to speed and to kiss the steering wheel, and I started to cry. He was happy, I was sad. For me, I realized that I am separating from my world. And I had mixed feelings. In a way, I felt liberated. In another way, I felt desolated. It was a complicated feeling, but it was heavy, it was painful. But we were driving and Mirel was singing. And at one point I smelled burned rubber. And we had to pull, and something wrong with the car. So we pulled on the right side, we got out, and a wheel was completely burned. All the rubber was burned. So we took everything out from the trunk. You can imagine what a spectacle, no? All that junk. And Mirel changed the tire, whistling all the time and singing and being happy. And I was shivering of emotions. It was summer, not because of the temperature. I was so emotional and worried. And I don't remember how we made it to Vienna, but in the way there, we realized that we had only one address, the address of some friends of my parents. My parents were deceased for a long time, and the address was very old. And we were saying, what will happen to us if they don't live there anymore? Or if they don't want to know us? We have to go to the police and ask for political asylum. So what they have a choice. They will accept us, or they were going to take us to the Romanian embassy and send us back to Romania. So our doubts were growing and growing. So by the time we reached that address in Vienna, we were quite worried and doubtful. We rang the bell. We saw for the first time an intercom. And when the answer came, I introduced myself, and it was they were the right people, and they recognized me. And they were very attached to my parents, who did a lot for them when they were young. And they all came downstairs and embraced us with all kinds of questions. How did we manage? How did we arrive there? So they took us upstairs. Oh, and at the elevator, they put money at the door in order to have the elevator door open. So we realized that in many places in Vienna, you need to have money to ride the elevator. So we were watching from then on what building we should consider to climb the stairs or to take the elevator. So this is something unimportant, but I'm telling you because it made an impression on me. So they called all their friends, and some of them knew my parents. And they organized a big party at the Prater. Excuse me. And they called somebody in Frankfurt to call Mirel's sister in Romania to tell her in code that we are fine and we are free at last. So all these things were arranged and we were bewildered. We enjoyed all the attention. We tried to answer questions. We ate a lot, we drank a lot. So the weekend was spent with them in a lot of joy and celebration. On Monday, we went to Hayas. Hayas is the Hebrew Immigration Aid Service, and they service all refugees, no matter ethnic group, religious group. They are very helpful. But the lady clerk greeted us with suspicion. She was very cool. And we filled out some papers, and she invited us to return in a few days, which we did. And when we returned, she was friendlier, excuse me, and she handed us an envelope. And we opened the envelope, and it was the address of a house where there were other Romanian refugees staying. There was a voucher for Berlitz School to study English, and there were money. And for the first time, we were handed money. And we were very, very emotional and embarrassed. And the woman realized this. So she got the paper out and she said, you know what? You can sign here to reimburse everything, to pay us back all our expenses when you are going to be able to do it, which we did it here. At the beginning, we paid $10 a month. And later on, we completed and we paid everything. So please remember, put Hayas on the top of your list. It's worth it. So we joined the group at that house. I'm not going to give you details. They were one young woman and two men. One was an acquaintance of Mirel. We were friendly. We spent time together. Then we went to the American embassy where we were interviewed in a very friendly manner. And we filled out an application, and they were quite optimistic that we were going to be approved because of Mirel's profession. He was a mechanical engineer. And so we waited and waited. We did our stuff, our tourism, our observation of the capitalistic world, enjoying the freedom, but being concerned also. Something happened in the meantime. A Romanian personality who got political asylum was drugged with an injection and taken back to Romania. And it became quite scary. So one night when we were leaving a show of lighted sound at the Belvedere Palace, it was free in the garden, we found on our windshield a note threatening us and consider us in Romanian traitors. So next day, Mirel bought a weapon, a whistle. So from then on, Mirel was wearing a whistle in case somebody is approaching us to whistle and to request help. But otherwise, we felt good in Austria. We went to the synagogue, but we listened to our friends and we realized that Jews weren't too much loved there after all. I'm not going to give you details about our stay there, but you can imagine that no matter how much we enjoyed and how much we were doing tourism, deep down in our hearts, we were very concerned and very worried what will happen. So we were checking all the time with the American embassy, and after 2 months, they told us that we were approved and that the Jewish Family Service from Buffalo sponsored us. We didn't know about Buffalo. They said New York State. So we checked on the map. We checked what's happening in Buffalo, what industries, and what the needs will be for Mirel's profession. And we were scheduled to leave together with our friends as a group in 27th of August. And I can't tell you how. I remember being in the airplane. I don't remember having any ticket, any document, any paper, nothing. I just remember we were in the airplane, and it was a very elegant flight. I don't remember if it was TWA. We were wearing our elegant clothes, and the stewardess was very elegant and pampered us with food and drinks, and people around us knew that we are going to America, that we are going to immigrate to America, and they were very friendly. So we partied on the flight, and we arrived, we flew, and we saw the Statue of Liberty. And it was very emotional, like in the poem. And everybody got quiet, and we were hugging, and the other people were applauding us and saying welcome. And yeah, we arrived at Kennedy Airport. I don't know what happened. They didn't take us to the customs. Somebody was guiding us and taking us very fast to the exit. I don't remember any customs, any control, nothing. We didn't have any papers. The other three people had the families waiting for them. And for us, it was a big gentleman, very sweaty, short sleeves, waving the Puyus family sign. So we went to him. He just took us by both hands, schlepping us through the crowd in a hurry, saying in Yiddish, Shabbat, 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 airplane. We had to catch a plane from LaGuardia. So they took us fast to a truck. He had already our boxes loaded on his truck. We squeezed in his cabin. It was like an oven, and he was slaloming through the traffic. And we arrived to LaGuardia Airport. We got the plane. We started to breathe. We waved goodbye to that guy. But now what? We didn't speak the whole flight. Both of us were thinking and considering what's next. So we came to Buffalo, and we were greeted by a young couple, Miriam and Sam Sterk. We realized that they were newly married. They were very friendly, very warm, and in a way, she explained that she was new hired by the Jewish Family Service, that actually she was substituting for somebody who was going to services. And later on, we found out that Shirley Feld was the person who was supposed to greet us, and she was attending services at Temple Sinai. So Miriam and Sam took us to the Town Hotel. Do you remember Town Hotel? It was on Main Street with North Street. It was that little hotel. For us, didn't make any difference. So the whole night we were talking. What language, how, I don't know. We were drinking a lot because we had booze duty free from the airplane. And we were talking. They decided the whole weekend they are going to to drive us around, to show us Niagara Falls and all things around. And yeah, I wanted to tell you, no, I forget about small details. So on Monday, we went to the Sidway building because the Jewish Family Service was located in the Sidway building. And we were introduced to the people there. We filled out papers. The employment person, Mrs. Tutai, which Regina knows from playing bridge with her, tried to help us with the employment. And again, we were given a stipend. And Miriam, our caseworker, helped us with finding an apartment. And we moved on Brentford Place across from the school. And After a few days, I want to tell you an anecdote. After a few days, Mirel is taking the garbage out. Maybe my friend Pepe knows better the story. A young couple, the lady very pregnant, approaches Mirel and says, well, I was given this address because Jewish Family Service told me that a family by the name of Puyus is living here. Do you know them? And Mirel said, here I am. And she started to laugh because her mother from New York, who knew Mirel as a young man, told her, make sure you contact Mirel and you'll recognize him. He has a big, curly, bright yellow hair. And Mirel was bald. Mirel was bald since the age of 26. So they came in, and it happened that Pepe and Murray were also new in Buffalo. And Murray was teaching at a medical school, biochemistry at a medical school. And Pepe was expecting her first child. And we became friends. They gave us their first TV, which was a black and white TV with ears, and we loved it. And this was our first source of getting in touch with the American culture and the language and everything. And certainly they showed us around. But the most important thing I want to tell you is how the Jewish Family Service assisted us through Miriam Sturck. Miriam and Sam became our very, very close friends. Every single evening they were on our steps, and we were doing and talking and doing stuff together. They didn't have any friends or too many friends in Buffalo either. We spent the first Thanksgiving with them, and it was the first Thanksgiving. You can imagine what novelty. Anyhow, what did I want to say? Yes, how smart Miriam Sturck was as our caseworker. She got all the information on paper for us, all the instructions. She didn't babysit us. She let us be on our own, to discover by ourselves what we have to do at the city hall, what we have to do in every single place, what buses to take, how to shop at the supermarket. She wrote what kind of soap to purchase, what kind of detergent to purchase in order not to spend too much money, for the money to be enough. So in short, this was our beginning here. And yes, Buffalo became our house, our home. And we were very happy here, and we progress, and we are very, very grateful to be here. And to tell you the truth, every day I am thankful and grateful, and I feel so lucky. Thank you.
Melania, Melania, what an amazing story. I've been crying the whole time. Very heroic, and we're very lucky and blessed to have you in our community. And I think you very much represented Hayas and JFS. So let's just take a deep breath, just breathing in all of that you've done. And, you know, it really makes us appreciate just any one thing could have sent you back, and you got here. So lucky.
I think so.
So we'll have a chance to talk to Melania after the service. And I hope you'll be able to stay around, and we'll be able to do.
Okay.
And you can also, I see some comments in the chat room also. Wonderful story, beautiful, and it's recorded as well. I'm going to turn it back to the cantor. We're going to get to the end of our services so we can talk to you. And Matt Stewart just wrote, and he loved your story. And we're going to go into Aleinu. I'm going to invite everyone to rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וקורבנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים המלאכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו
You may be seated. We're going to turn now to the mourner's Kaddish. We had several deaths in our community this week. Donna Massimo, her father, Francis Massimo, died only about a month after her mother, Gloria, died. So our thoughts and prayers are with Donna and Alan and the whole family. And I don't know, they were going to try to watch. I did learn about Francis's nickname is Binky, which was given to him by his brother when he was young. And we have another former member, Gloria Ashton, who had died. Her husband, we send our condolences to her husband, Jerry. And we're remembering Rosalind Faust Gerard, Thaddeus Hennessy, Sylvia Nadel, Dewey McGoy, Muriel Rosenthal, and Nancy Taylor, all who died this past month. On our yard site list from years past, we remember Jerome Abelson, Celia Atkin, Rosalind Barth, Diane Hurwitz Baumler, Sarah Berman, Richard Bernard, Samuel Block, Rene Bengiorno, Sam J. Kamhai, Joseph Cantor, Teresa Comey, Evelyn Ehrenreich, Harry S. Eisner, Benjamin James Ellis, Julia Engel, Minnie Engel, Lillian B. Ensler, Harold Epstein, Marvin Fox, Morris Galinsky, Frederick Gale, Hubert A. Gertzman, Blanche Greenman, David Jacobs, Sally Jadd, Judy Klipstein, Marvin Kranitz, Bella Kremer, Arthur Lessman, Edith Liebenskind, Shalom Levy, Dr. Erwin Lindenfeld, Ida Lippman, Ralph Morris, Roma Beth Olin, Levian Bert Reich, Dexter Rosen, Edith Rosen, Jules Saltman, Patricia H. Savitt Barone, Tilly Shackman, Max Schatzberg, Anita Schneider, Adolf Schwartz, Susan Sellers, John Staley Shevat, Clara Theander, Caroline W. Tufts, Stanley Weinberg, Fanny Weinstein, Joseph Weiss, and Isidore Zimmerman. And I saw from our Facebook post that Dave Block is also an anniversary for his father. We'll invite all those whose custom it is to ride. Thank you, Carol. Bernard Schmeidler as well, and Joseph Mueller, and all whose custom it is to rise. Yitgadal, V'yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah, V'yalma, Dibra, Chirite, V'yamlik Malchute, V'chayachon, V'yamachon, V'chayeh, V'chol Beit Yisrael, V'agala, V'zman, Kariv, V'yamaru, Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah, V'rach, V'yolam, Omei, Omaya. Yitbarak, Yishtabach, Yitfa'ar, Yitramam, Yitnaseh. Yitadar, Yitaleh, Yitalal, Shemei Kudashah, Brechu. Leilam Yinkol, Birchata, B'shirata, Tushbechata, B'nechamata, Damiran, B'yalma, V'yamru, Amen. Yehei Shlomo Rabbah, Min Shemaya, V'chaim Aleinu V'yakol Yisrael, V'yamru, Amen. Oseh Shalom B'mramav, Huya says Shalom, Aleinu V'yakol Yisrael, V'yamru, Amen. May God send peace to all those who are in mourning and to our world. I invite you to be seated, Zikronam Livracha, and before we get to the final song, I'm going to turn it to Bruce Chorus for the announcements.
Shabbat Shalom again, everyone. Thank you to Melania Puyas for sharing her. I mean, we were reliving every moment with you, every twist and turn. And are you going to get here? We knew the ending. We knew you were going to get here, We just didn't know how. I mean, that was really, really amazing. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you to Rabbi Alex, Cantor Frank, and Mike Frank for tonight's lovely service. Another warm service on a cold night. It is so important that we maintain this tradition and connection with our members. Tomorrow morning, we have Torah study at 9 a.m., the junior congregation at 10 a.m., and the Shabbat morning service and virtual Kiddush luncheon at 11. Everything is on Zoom. The website will have the links. We have religious school Sunday. Please contact Inab Simons, our religious school director, if you have any questions. Carol Schmeidler, this one answers your question. We will be receiving our CSS logo merchandise next week. Carol texted me earlier. She said, when are we getting it? I said, no, you got to stay tuned for the announcements to find out. Anyway, the stuff is coming in next week. So please watch your email for details on when to pick it up. And then we're going to show that we are Shir Shalom strong by wearing it for a special Erev Shabbat service later this month. Thank you for your support in taking part in that. Thank you to Sheila Bernard Tucker for coming up with the idea. Next Friday night, we have candle lighting at 6:45 on Zoom, I should say. Then it's the 1-year anniversary of the first time we were not all together. And so next Friday night, the rabbi, the cantor, Joanne, and myself will be in the sanctuary for a special commemorative service. So we won't be together on Zoom that night. It will be live stream, but it'll be a service in the sanctuary, just like it was 1 year ago the following night, as we mark a whole year of not having a quote normal Friday night service. So anyway, that will be next Friday night. It will be live stream, Boxcast, Facebook, YouTube, and it will not be on Zoom. But please join us for that. Then mark your calendars for Sunday, March 28th for our second night Seder. That will be with our friends from Temple Beth Tzedek and Temple Beth Zion. That'll be on Zoom. That will be the second night. It'll be a community Seder, virtual Seder. Rabbi and Cantor are also going to do a short thing for the first night, for those of you that would like to have something to play, to follow along with in your home. But the big event will be the community Seder on the second night of Passover. If you need anything else, if you need anything at all, please feel free to reach out to the rabbi, the cantor, Joanne, or myself. We are, of course, always here for you. Stay tuned. Those of you that are with us on Zoom, stick around. We'll chat a little bit on the Onig. Those of you that are watching on the stream, wish you all a Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Bruce. It's going to be very emotional next week, I think, for all of us. And Melania, I just to let you know in the chat, there's a lot of warm wishes for you. So there's a stunning slide. Thank you, Cantor. And I'm going to read this, and then Cantor, I think, is going to be doing it in Yiddish.
I don't know what to do in order to remain for the Oneg. What do I have to do?
Just stay.
Okay.
No problem. Just stay where you are. I wandered into a free country out of the desert as though from Egypt, looking for a new Yerushalayim. This is a country for you, me and you. This is your country. This is my country, from California to Ellis Island, from Great Lakes to the wide oceans. This is a country for me and you. I walked over the mountains and the valleys, surrounded by a sweet voice. The streams murmur, a bird sing. This is a country for me and you. I go to roaming sun above, but an evil wind blows dust through a haze. I hear singing. This is a country for me and you. On the wet streets and deep shadows, I see people begging for change. With such poverty, I ask myself if this is a land for me and you. There's no one who can stop us. The roads of freedom will not be forbidden. There are no borders as long as we are united. This is a country for me and you.
We're going to perform this in Yiddish, Yiddish by the Four Verts, and it's featuring Thomas Lansing. We'll be threading in and out as we try to accomplish this on Zoom. Hab mir gewandert in ein Land der Freien, Aros von Midberg Land ist dein Land, das Land ist mein Land. Von Kalifornien bis jedes Island, von der Größe Sosres bis die breite Jammen. Das ist ein Land von mir und dir. Geh ich herüber die Berg und Täler, herumgeringern von süßer Kenne, die Grischkes Mörnin, die Vögel singen. Das ist ein Land von mir und dir. Try with me. Das Land ist dein Land, das Land ist mein Land. Von Kalifornien bis jedes Island, von die Größe Sosres bis die breite Jammen. Das ist ein Land von mir und dir. Geh ich mir woglen, die Sonne von Neuben, die Besetzten, sie Bosen stäuben, durch die Tonmannen hör ich Gesangen. Das ist ein Land von mir und dir. You know it now, here it goes. Das Land ist dein Land, das Land ist mein Land. Von Kalifornien bis jedes Island, von der Größe Sosres bis die breite Jammen. Das ist ein Land von mir und dir. Auf nasche Ganschen, die tiefe Chancen, sie wie Menschen retten mit Dovis, bei darf ich sich klären. Sieht aus dieser Land von mir und dir. Es kennt schon keine und nicht verstehen. Die Frage wegen uns nicht verwenden. Die Tag zusammen, denn nur zusammen. Das ist ein Land von mir und dir. Noch einmal, das Land ist dein Land, das Land ist mein Land. Von Kalifornien bis jedes Island, von der Größe Sores bis die breite Jammen. Das ist ein Land von mir und dir.
Wow, what a perfect way to end. And I love that Tom was also playing because, of course, his family was refugees that came here. What a wonderful way. And it was definitely a service with a lot of emotions. We have one final blessing, which is Hamotzi. And we're going to turn that over to Joanne and Robert.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
As you came in peace, may you leave in peace. We encourage you to stay. We're going to be turning off the stream now. And I do hope we get to share Melania's story.